What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Beyond the Backboard podcast special episode of 2 Minute Drill. My name is Omar, and below me is Max and Earl. Today, we're going to be going over the greatest power forwards of all time, and to kick it off, it's going to be me, and my fifth greatest power forward of all time. This is actually really hard. I didn't have a solid pick. Me and Earl were just discussing our picks, and I was still very confused. I was still very on edge, but mm, I think I'm gonna have to go with Giannis. I think I'm gonna have to go with Giannis. I think his two MVP awards, the Defensive Player of the Year, and his NBA championship just it stacks up against Charles Barkley a little bit better. I understand what Charles Barkley has done in this league and everything with his from his physical play to his defense and everything. The best, one of the best rebounders to see the game, but I just feel like Giannis got a lot more in the tank to do a lot more of the same thing that he's been doing for the past couple of years. So, to be completely honest, I just got to go with Giannis here.
Max,
You go. I want to hear your reasoning because
I want to hear your reasoning. I want to hear yours first.
Your reasoning.
I want to hear yours first. Come on, Max.
All right. Well, if you're gonna put the pressure on me,
you both got then Charles Barkley.
I'm gonna go with a pick that you guys probably are gonna disagree with.
Okay. All right.
I know who you're gonna say.
All right. Who am I gonna say?
It's an old school player, right?
No, not really. Definitely.
Oh.
I'm going Kevin Garnett at number 5.
Who?
Kevin Garnett.
Oh, okay.
Garnett at number 5.
That's not horrible. That's not horrible.
This is really hard for me. I know a lot of people are going to have him higher on this list, ahead of some guys that I've put ahead of him pretty comfortably, but I don't know. Maybe I just missed the KG reign. Like, I'm too young. I never saw him play in Minnesota. I never saw him at his peak. It just wasn't – he doesn't stand out to me the same way that these other power forwards do. I mean, yes, he won the championship. Was he the best player on that championship? Probably not. He made a lot of all-star teams, which fair play to him. 15 all-star teams is not.
So who was the best player on that team? Paul Pierce?
I would say Paul Pierce was. In KG was probably 2, maybe 3 behind Ray. No, probably 2. Probably 2. I'll give him 2, or maybe even Rondo. I mean, that team had a lot of very good players. And I would not say KG was the best player on that.
I think Paul Pierce is the worst superstar of all time. So you're gonna have to explain to me how the hell he was number 1 on that Celtics squad.
You're casual if you don't think Paul Pierce is number 1.
I never liked Paul Pierce. I never liked.
Look, you're talking to the dude who I don't like Paul Pierce at all, but I can respect the fact that he's one of the more underrated players that we see in the game.
And that's a fact.
I think Pierce is.
I don't think so though.
I
don't think so.
Though. A lot of people was the best player on that championship team. I think Garnett was a little bit past his prime those years. Obviously, those years in Minnesota were at his best, and he didn't really have the team to go make a deep run. But he brought those Timberwolves teams to the best years in their franchise history. So that plus the 15 All-Stars, plus he was a great defensive player. I will give that to him. That for me is enough to get him over Barkley. Spoiler: I won't have Barkley on my list. But so that's enough to get me KG over Barkley, but I don't see him getting any higher. I don't know. Maybe I'm just falling victim to having watched the last few years of his career, never really seeing him at his peak. But he's fine.
For the sake of time, let's get to Earl's pick.
Yep.
Yeah, my 5th pick is probably going to be. Honestly, now that I'm putting it into perspective, I'm gonna go KG too.
Ooh,
because
okay. I was not expecting either of you guys to agree with me.
I really feel like KG was the number 1 on that squad. I feel like he was
get
closer
it, but
to
if I have to think about now I have to put things into perspective. Giannis's career isn't done, and he's already accomplished, if not pretty much the same or a little bit more. I mean, he has the MVPs on top of that, and he's still going.
Yeah.
So if I'm rating it off of accolades plus your impact on the court as well, I think I have to put KG 5 and spoiler, not so spoiler alert. Barkley is not going to make my list because of individual accolades as well, unfortunately. But he's a close 6, 7 for me. So, yeah. Let's move on to number 4.
All right. Number 4, I got Dirk.
Dirk?
Dirk.
Oh, Dirk.
Nowitzki.
My fault. My fault.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Derek Favors.
I didn't know what he said.
Yeah, that's exactly who I said. Derek Favors. Exactly who I said.
Got confused, brother.
No. All seriousness, he redefined what a big man should look like in this league. Quite literally brought about the shooting big man, along with Chris Bosh, may I add. But god damn it. 2011 championship, unfortunately, that was the only one he got. I feel like there was a lot of more opportunities for him if he had a better team around him. Imagine if him and Kobe were together. Oh man, I don't know if you guys heard about that Mark Cuban shit that he said about him like acquiring Kobe and then backing out of the last second or something. But man, if he had Kobe, he would be higher on my list here. But number 4 for me, Dirk Nowitzki.
I'll ditto that. I got Dirk at number 4. So Dirk over KG for me personally. I value that Dirk really dragging that Dallas team. He was by far the best player on that team, and he had to beat the LeBron Heat to win that championship. Prime LeBron, Wade still at the tail end of his prime Bosh. He took them all on with an aging Jason Kidd and Tyson Chandler and Jason Terry. To me, that championship puts him just slightly over KG. And don't forget, Dirk, I believe, had 12 All-NBA selections and 14 All-Star teams. So he had the longevity of Garnett, but that one championship year, I think, is enough for me to give him the slide nod. But it's very close.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and round it off and say Dirk as well. I think Dirk accomplished a lot in his career. That Miami championship definitely boosted him up. That literally, I don't want to say saved his legacy, but it solidified him in the NBA history books as far as like all-time power forwards winning that championship. So he locked in, got it done, went in there and won games that people didn't necessarily think they were capable of winning. And that's why he's on this list for me at this spot. So it's pretty much what I got for Dirk.
So my next pick is somebody that you guys had at 5, but you know what? I'm actually looking back at it. I'm actually really surprised for somebody like Max who really values defense didn't look over Kevin Garnett's defensive accolades. Kevin Garnett,
true. That is true.
Yeah, Kevin Garnett, along with winning. Let me see if I get this right here. Garnett won the MVP award and a championship with the Boston Celtics. And then on top of that, he was selected 9 times all defense, first team from 2000 to 2005, and then again in 2008 on the second team, 2006 and 2007. So literally 9 times. 2008, he was the defensive player of the year. In 2008, he led the NBA in defensive rating, 5th all-time in defensive rebounds, and then led the NBA in rebounds per game in 2004 and 2005. So, to be completely honest, I don't know why you guys have him that low, but damn, not only did he win the MVP and was the champion with the Boston Celtics, but he was a defensive powerhouse. So
yeah,
he was.
My number 3.
I think
2 guys two of the 3 that I've got ahead of him are also defensive powerhouses. So I'll just say that.
Yeah, 2 out of my last 3 are as well. And right here for my number 3 spot, I think I'm going to go ahead and round in my Giannis pick. I still think Giannis has a lot to improve on. Like, I don't think he's reached his peak yet. I think he's right there in his prime right now. But as far as
this is his peak.
As far as like,
you think this is his peak, Max?
No, what I mean is I don't
29,
think
30 or 20.
I'm saying I don't think he's done producing yet. Is what I mean.
Oh, for sure. No, for sure.
Like,
I don't think he's going to get any better.
Maybe I just explained it wrong. I don't think he's done collecting accolades. Basically, like compared to these other guys,
many good years left.
Their stuff is pretty much solidified. Giannis is still kind of an open book as far as championships. He can still compete for defensive player of the years, all first defensive teams, rebounding, stuff like that. He still has a chance to add up those accolades. So for me, he's 3 and honestly still counting. Who knows what can happen? Right now with Doc Rivers, that window's looking pretty slim. No offense, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I got Giannis at 3 on my list for sure.
What about you?
You know, I was really going to go. This is so close. I was really not going to put Giannis at 3, but I think
Where are you going to put him? You were going to put him at 2?
It's so close between Giannis and Karl Malone for me. I'll give Giannis number 3. I'll go Malone number 2 as much as I don't want to. I so close because Malone did make 3 all defensive teams. He has 2 MVPs as well. he is second, or well, I guess not third on the all-time score. Giannis isn't up there yet. I think in another year or two, when we redo this video, I will probably have Giannis at 2. But right now, I'll go 3. But that championship run, I think Giannis has still been the best player in basketball for like maybe even the last 3 to 4 years, even with the guys like Luka and Jokic. I think the fact that Giannis has an offensive production similar to them and plays way better defense, in my mind, he's been the best player in the world. Was Karl Malone ever the best player in the world? Probably not, but he was also playing against the greatest player to ever touch a basketball.
By that definition, Kevin Garnett should be higher on your list, though. So now you're kind of like...
Was Garnett ever the best player in the world during Kobe and LeBron years? I don't think so.
But
I'm going Giannis 3. You talked me down to it, Earl. You talked me into it. It's so close.
I don't know if
how much is Kevin Garnett paying you?
Kevin Garnett's not paying me anything. I just really appreciate I have no problem with that.
I think there's a legitimate argument to be made for Garnett.
No. I get it. It's cool.
How much is Kevin Garnett paying you? It's crazy.
But
my bad.
Good.
I just wanted to say real quick, the reason why I didn't put Giannis so high on my list is not because I don't think he's not done collecting accolades, but more or less because he didn't do it yet. So I don't know what the next couple of years for Giannis looks like. I don't know. Maybe for the next 5 years, he's going to be injury riddled and then out of the league. We don't know. So for my safety, I had to put him at 5. And for my number 2,
we have to judge him based on if he retired today. That's
then
how
I'm putting him.
And I think if he retired today, he would be higher all time than both Garnett and Nowitzki.
I thought that's what we were doing here, but I suppose
I agree.
If you guys,
I agree.
Anyway, number 2 is Karl Malone for the same reasons that Max listed, but I don't really want to talk about him. I don't think he deserves credit.
We can just get right to number 1.
We can just
number 1. Timmy D.
Ego power forward.
He's the only player big fundamental Duncan
as the greatest at his position.
Oh yeah, the big fundamental Duncan won 5 championships with 2 MVP awards with the San Antonio Spurs. God damn it. It's hard to not, because I think they were slept on almost every single year, those LeBron years. Yep. Crazy. And then the fact that he won back in the day and then he won again is later on is really cool to me personally.
Yeah, I mean, really,
it's like a redemption story.
Yeah. Literally. And you want to know what I always thought the most impressive thing about the Spurs was? And to be fair, this had probably less to do with Duncan because this was towards the end of his career. But the fact that they came so close to beating the 2013 Heat and lost in that absolutely heartbreaking, gut-wrenching way. They were literally roping off the court in Game 6 to give them to do the award ceremony and to lose not only that game but the series in that fashion, and then to come back the next year with an aging Duncan, an aging Parker, an aging Ginobili, and a young Kawhi, go back to the finals and decimate the Heat. That to me is just a cherry on top. And again, Duncan wasn't the biggest contributor to that. Kawhi was the best player on that team, but that to me is just a cherry on top of Duncan's career, Popovich's career, that whole team really. The fact that they were able to win, I think first in 1999. And then 2014 with basically the same team, 15 years stretch of just dominance, winning 60-plus games. And I think there was even a year where they went like 40-1 at home, won 60-plus games. That team was insane, and Duncan was almost always the best player on that team.
Yeah,
so
and
forget all these
arguments.
Duncan is about the team success, and that
I don't think the greatest power forward of all time is ever in contention. I think it was always Timmy D. He's been my guy since I've seen him beat the Heat. So,
and honestly,
anyone who watched Duncan play knows how great he was. So
towards the end, I mean, they had chances. No, I was just gonna say they had chances as well to win towards the end too, but with those Kawhi injuries towards the end of Duncan's career, I mean, that kind of stopped maybe a potential 6, maybe even potential 7.
I don't know. I mean, Duncan retired in 2015. I want to say, right? 15, 16, 15.
Yeah, I think that was one of the years.
He retired 1 year after they won the championship.
Yeah, let me check.
You only got 1 or 2. I think the Kawhi injury was a little bit after, but I might be wrong.
Yeah.
While you guys do that, we unfortunately do got to move on for the sake of time. But thank you guys so much for tuning in on the Beyond the Backboard podcast on this special episode of 2 Minute Drill. Again, thank you guys so much. Tune into this week's episode of the Beyond the Backboard podcast, probably episode 62 or 63, one of the two. But thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. Earl, you want to add that PS in real quick for the audience to know what's up? If you looked it up by any chance, I thought you looked up what you were.
Oh, no, I didn't have time. We good.
All right. No, you're all good, man. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys.
Tim Duncan, the GOAT. That's it. Goodbye.
Tim Duncan, the GOAT of all power forwards. Peace out.
Peace.